It's Mac and Perry in the place. Da-na-na-na. Mac and Perry.
Go live to create.
Da-na-na-na. Mac and Perry invite you to stay.
Welcome to On Location here in Lethbridge. I'm Michael.
I'm Daniel, and this is...
I'm Lauren Kurmey.
Yeah, great. So yeah, thanks so much for joining us, Lauren.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, in nature. We are out here in the river bottom. It's a lovely day. I'm looking forward to learning about your artistic practice. So maybe just briefly tell me about the sort of art you do.
Yeah, so I focus on drawing local nature and wildlife and little familiar friends that you can just see in your backyard, out your window, or on walks in local parks. I really like highlighting the magic of kind of the mundane that we have here. Yeah.
Nice, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm really interested in discussing that more deeply. But first we're going to play a few little games just to get to know you. It'll be fun. So we just have some trivia to start. How are you with trivia?
We're going to find out. I have no idea.
Yeah. So it's Lethbridge trivia. It's multiple choice. It's very easy. No pressure at all. So I will ask the first question. All right. Since it's a lovely day out and not windy so far, on average, how many days in Lethbridge have wind speeds over 40 kilometers an hour? Would it be A, 50 days out of the year, B, 98, C, 116, or D, 365 days of the year windy?
Feels like D sometimes, but
Right.
I think go with B.
B, 98.
Yeah.
Close, it's 116.
Well,
According
those
to-
are real close though.
Right? Yeah. Tough question. Okay, it's a little tough, but
Yeah.
well, a few windy days here in Lethbridge. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. We also have another trivia question which Daniel will be asking. I'm going to direct it over to him.
Hello. Okay, my next piece of Lethbridge trivia for you is Lethbridge does not have a what side of the city? A, north side, B, east side, C, south side, or D, west side?
East side.
You got it. Nice. I'll pass it back to you, Michael.
That was a nice gimme.
Right? Super easy.
Yeah.
That was just two easy ones. It's all good.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so we've also prepared some other trivia that are questions about us for each other.
Mm-hmm.
What you have here. So I'll have you how about you ask me the question about Daniel first?
Okay. All right. So Daniel has whittled a miniature of which animal? A, otter, B, raccoon, C, whale, or D, daddy longlegs?
Interesting. Yes, I think Daddy Longlegs would be interesting to whittle. I know he's mentioned his whittling now and again. Loves to do that. But I also know he has mentioned how much he likes raccoons. So I'm going to say raccoon.
Yeah, you're right. That's pretty sweet.
Nice.
I like that fact.
Yeah,
Like
we'll
that
have
a
to
lot.
get an image of that at some
Yeah,
point
totally.
with whittling.
I'd like to see that.
Right? All right, so next we're going to ask another question. So this one's about me to Daniel. It's on the other sheet.
Yep. Okay. So, Michael likes to spend time in the river bottom. One of his favorite ways to pass the time here is A, floating down the Old Man River, B, mountain biking on the coulee trails, C, photographing wildlife, or D, bridge jumping into the Old Man River.
Oh my gosh, those are all so extreme. I could picture you doing all of those, but also I can't recall you telling me about any of them. So I'm going to go with the bridge jumping into the Old Man River.
Yeah, that was it. Yep.
Yay!
That's pretty crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Like this bridge?
Yeah, just like the first rung.
The first rung, okay.
Yeah, nothing like...
You could have maybe specified that.
No one jumps off the top,
I mean,
not more than once.
it's probably not a good idea, at least, yeah.
Yeah, just off the first one.
Yeah.
So that's always fun on a hot day.
You ever
Jump
have a
into the
dream
river.
to jump off the second one?
No.
Second rung? No, that's too much.
Even the first one.
Yeah.
Getting up there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
No.
No.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. That's something I like to do. So
Yeah,
we got
sweet.
them both right. That never
Yeah.
happens.
Really?
Yeah. Usually
Wow.
we either get them both wrong or one of
Oh,
us
there you
gets it
go.
wrong. So yeah.
You know the nature stuff, at least.
There we
Yeah.
go. We're in tune with nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. All right, that's the trivia
Okay.
portion. Next we'll do our this or that questions. And these are in this lovely hat, and we just ask two questions like coffee or tea, cats or dogs. And I'll pick the first one. I won't look. Plan ahead or be spontaneous.
In the middle, which is exactly what I did for today. I looked at the questions, I thought of the answers, and then I didn't plan anymore. And I purposely kept not thinking about it, which is really hard for me. Because I think I would have been a planner. And I probably am with the things that need like a lot of time management, but with things where my like nervousness could spiral a little bit, I try to just be like, no, we're gonna go in, we're gonna do it live, it's gonna be great, and then I just hope real hard.
Good, yeah, nice little mixture. That makes sense. Certain things are
Life's about balance.
balance. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'd probably be similar. Yeah, I think generally I like to plan things ahead. Yeah, I can't think of too many things I just spontaneously like to do, especially if it's something important. So, yeah, unless it's like, let's go jump off the bridge into the river.
Yeah.
It can be spontaneous. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, certain things might be less spontaneous. So.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get you to pick one. I'll reach
Okay.
over.
Sandcastles or snowmen?
Yes. Do I like beaches or winter? Yeah, I would say generally snowmen. Yeah, living in Canada, we have a decent amount of winter, and I like to get outside in winter, be in nature, hiking.
More practice for snowmen too, around here at least.
True. Yeah. Not too many sandcastles. I mean, and I guess if someone said let's go on a holiday to somewhere warm, I would, but. Yeah, I think I just like to embrace winter and enjoy it, so I'd probably say let's build a snowman.
That's fair.
Yeah, you?
Yeah, probably the same. Yeah. I'm from New Brunswick, but those beaches are rocky, and I haven't been there since I was like basically born. So I only know snow from being here. I don't know sand, so I would have to say snowman for sure.
Have you ever been anywhere warm with a sandy beach before?
No. I've been to the other end of Canada. I lived in Victoria too for a while.
Okay.
Just rocks there though. So no, I haven't. I have no sand experience.
Yeah, and the water's a little colder on those places.
Yeah,
so.
well, closer to snow.
Closer to snow. This makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Great. All right. I'm gonna ask another one. All right. Truck or car?
Oh, car. Cheaper gas.
Yeah.
Done. That's the answer. Done.
All right.
Also, as a short person, easier to get into. I don't want to climb into my car. I don't want to climb up real high.
Yeah.
So it'll work.
Great. Yeah. Perfect. You thought it through. I love it. Yeah. I think very similarly. Yeah. I drive a small car, and very fuel efficient. And my dad has a 1966 Dodge truck. It's like his work truck still, and if I need it, I can use it. But most of the time, I just use my car. So.
Nice
Definitely.
big trunk though is helpful, at least.
Sure, if you need to haul stuff for markets
exactly.
or whatever,
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's probably all I'll say with that one. Yeah, great. We'll have you pick one.
Okay.
We'll do one more each or so.
Book or movie?
Ooh, that is a tricky one. I like both. I watch lots of films, but I also read a lot. But I guess if I'm imagining if this is a fiction book or the movie version of it, I don't read a lot of fiction. And so I'd say I'd probably watch the movie over reading the fiction book.
Interesting.
Yeah. You?
Yeah. If we're talking in general, probably movie. It's a little more time efficient in general than reading things. I used to read a lot more. But if I had to pick, like you said, between like a book version or a movie version, I'd say the book version, just because it's original. It's the purest way it was intended. So, and I like that.
Yeah, and I know the few fiction books that were turned into movies that I read. Of course, the book is always more detailed and there's more character development, and you can't fit a whole book into a movie very easily. So
exactly. Yeah.
I get that. Yeah. Nice. All right. Maybe I'll ask one more. Maybe we'll get you to ask one more.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to move on to the tumbling towers. We'll see. So far, it hasn't tumbled. All right. Good one. This is a good one. Board game or video game?
Oh, video game, hands down.
Okay.
I'm not a board game fan. I have been a video game fan since I was a young Lauren, little Lauren, holding my N64 controller. Playing like Diddy Kong Racing and Pokemon Snap, which is actually a huge influence for why I like being out in nature and seeing animals now, because it's like a little adventure that you go on in Pokemon Snap too. and like Zelda. Yeah, no, video games for sure. Yeah, yeah, easy.
Great, yeah. And you play lots of games now too? Yeah.
Yeah, I do still. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I definitely am not a video game person. So I never really grew up with them that much. They were never really a big thing. So yeah, more board games. Yeah.
There you go.
But I like fun board games. They're all supposed to be fun, but I like more like party board games that are like, let's act this out, or let's do something silly, or
Yeah.
whatever, put this on your head or something.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
not so much like the super strategy, let's take 8 hours.
Or like exactly, right?
I don't
That's the
have time for
thing.
that.
Yeah. And then you gotta learn it too, which is like an hour beforehand before you even get going.
Right.
That's what's tough for me. That's like a big hurdle.
Research, and you're like painting, figuring. It's not for me.
Yeah,
I'd rather
Totally
be out
fair.
in nature.
that's fair. Yep.
So definitely, especially in winter,
Yeah.
nice cold night, play some board games, stay inside.
Yeah, that's fair. Totally fair.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, I think that's probably enough this or that for now.
Okay.
We will brave the tumbling towers on our precarious stool here. Yeah, so with this, have you played Tumbling Towers before? It is a game, not a video game. It is
a long time ago.
Yeah,
not,
it's
not
all good.
for a long time.
yeah, it's pretty simple. So
Yeah.
you just pull out the tiles. Technically, you can't pull from the bottom or the top 3, but no worries about
Okay,
that.
okay.
Yeah, you pull one out and then you put it on top. And each tile has a corresponding number with an open-ended question. So
All right.
give her a shot.
I'm doomed. I
Yeah.
know it.
And feel free to, you don't have to pick the first one that you touch.
Oh,
Not too
there's
sticky
no
about
rule for that.
Yeah, just whatever one feels loose.
This segment's about to be real short. Don't love this. I don't love this feeling. Are we having fun yet?
Oh man.
Okay.
You put it close to you.
Am I reading, or is it just the
Just
number?
the number, yeah.
Okay.
Put it like on that top. Yeah, put it
Oh,
there,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's leaning that way.
We're balancing back. Yeah.
35, 35. What other language would you like to speak?
Ooh, that's a fun one. I already can speak French. I was in French immersion since kindergarten, so I'm fluent in French. And since then, I've also taken a bunch of Japanese classes in high school and absorbed a lot through my nerdy anime hobbies. But so probably just furthering my Japanese. I'm not fluent in that. I got little bits that I can say and understand, but I would love to be able to be a little more fluent in that. I've been to Japan twice actually, so
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Nice.
it'd be cool to further that. Yeah,
Yeah, and deeper connection to that place and
yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah, yeah, cool. Yeah. Was it just like a holiday, or what were you doing in Japan?
So I went for a month to go to language school. And so I lived in the dorm there, and then in the mornings I would go to class, and then we'd have afternoon free to explore. It was in Tokyo, so there was a lot to explore. And that was for sure a really cool balance there too, between like a lot of nature and a lot of like nerdy stuff that I like having both of. There was so much nice scenery and landscapes and like shrines that would just be plopped in the middle of this big city, but it's so like serene and full of trees, and you almost can't hear the cars, which is crazy. But then you just go a couple streets over and you're in this like towering neon like set of streets, and it's super cool. Or just like a little bit out of Tokyo, there's nice little rural areas that are just fantastic. Like, oh, what a cool place. And then the second time I went was just a little week-long vacation. So both delightful times. Would highly recommend Japan.
The second time, similar area or somewhere new?
Yeah, also Tokyo for that one. Yeah, I went with someone that hadn't gone to Japan before, so Tokyo is like the easiest place to fill your week with for sure.
Yeah. If you've been there for a month, you kind of know the place a bit. And
Yeah.
show them around.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I think for me, my partner is from Spain, and so I should learn some more Spanish.
Do you know any?
A little bit, but
Yeah.
I should know more.
You got a tutor right at home.
Right? Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, you'd think that. Yeah. But it would be very helpful. We're headed there next month, and I really haven't been working on it. So,
Yeah, well,
because her parents don't speak in English. And
well, if you have a tutor at home that maybe you haven't gotten tutored from, at least you also have a translator.
Yeah, that's the
So.
thing. I'd be hooped. I wouldn't go.
Yeah, totally.
Staying here in the snow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's fair.
Definitely need her as a translator.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, I guess I will move over and try to pick one. All right, 15.
Oh. That was a good one.
All right. Yeah. What's an interesting person that you've met or had a conversation with?
Oh, like ever?
Ever. I don't know, just
Oh.
whoever comes to mind.
Um,
If anyone comes to mind.
yeah, I would probably say Carrie Fisher when I was at Edmonton Expo, selling my art there. She came by and saw my art, and she asked if I would draw her dog Gary. So that was it. She asked for these like little swirly, sparkly lights that she saw in some of my other pieces. She wanted that on this one, and then she walked off with her and she was vaping on her way, and then her agent or handler came over and paid me, and so I can officially say that I was commissioned by Carrie Fisher. So that was pretty cool. We also got a little photo. I got to meet her little dog Gary. He's real cute. He's got a little tongue hanging out of the side. Oh yeah, that was definitely like a highlight of cool moment for me, especially because I didn't have to like seek her out. It was like Carrie Fisher commissioned me.
Came to you, yeah.
Yeah, so that was super cool.
Nice,
Yeah.
yeah. And for those of us who maybe don't know who who is
What?
Carrie Fisher? Who is that?
Princess Leia from Star Wars.
Oh, yeah. I've seen the one, maybe some of them. I haven't really seen Star Wars.
Crazy.
Just if people didn't know, I'm just saying.
That's fair.
That's
I mean,
cool. Okay,
yeah.
I understand. Star Wars is a big deal.
Star Wars is a big deal. She's a big deal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't have asked.
I wasn't, still am not a big deal, so it was a big deal for me to have a big deal care about me.
Of course, yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I now understand why that was such a big
There you go.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I don't have anyone nearly that famous that I've met. Just what comes to mind was like, I remember I was on a plane once, and I was just chatting with this fellow that was beside me. And he was like the fire chief of like the Calgary Fire Department. He had all these like interesting stories about firefighting, and I could just like pick his brain about that. And,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Firefighting is super cool.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
super interesting. And something I like about flying in planes is it's really easy to talk to people.
Yeah,
Because you're always like, where are you headed?
yeah,
And then someone's going somewhere.
yeah.
And then there's always interesting people to talk to.
Yeah.
So I always find
As long as they're down for it, right?
yeah. You don't want to bother them if
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
sleepy or something. But yeah, usually people are cool to talk, and it's always fun to chat.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I don't remember his name, but
That's
he
okay.
was
You remember
cool.
the story. That's what's
Yeah,
important.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, yeah, I think I don't want to risk this anymore. I think we've tempted fate enough. Yeah, I guess that is all the time we have for this segment. Yeah, it's been really fun chatting and getting to know you.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. So this has been On Location. I'm Michael.
I'm Daniel, and this has been
Lauren Kurmey.
Great. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome to On Location here in Lethbridge in the River Bottom. I'm Michael.
I'm Daniel, and this is...
Lauren Kurmey.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that first segment, Lauren. Learning all about you, Carrie Fisher, and also not tumbling the tumbling towers.
We did it.
Was a success.
With the 2 that we pulled, we did it.
Right? Yeah, it was really fun, so it's good. But yeah, this segment was kind of an interview, really about your artistic practice and kind of your journey as an artist and also a business owner. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to chatting about that. Yeah, I guess to start, you can kind of do a little introduction of what your art is.
Yeah, so I mostly draw local nature. I love all the little critters that I see every day just out my window. I'm super obsessed with like getting my binoculars out and creeping out my window on animals like every day. And there are so many little friends that I think it's really cool to slow down and appreciate. So I really like highlighting the magic in those little moments and those little critters that we can see. And so I draw them in like a kind of cozy, magical, fantasy kind of way, and then hand make them those illustrations into different types of things like stickers and tote bags and prints and bookmarks and notepads and all sorts of different things.
It's great, and I've seen your work, and it's lovely, and yeah. I guess, when did that kind of start for you? When did you start like drawing, let's say?
I've been drawing since I could hold a crayon. So I don't know what age, but super tiny, stumpy little fingies. And I would even like set up my little drawing table in the living room, and then I would put out my art and I would sell my little drawings to my parents for like 25 cents. So even the little like market business thing has been going on for a long time. I was doing like drawing requests in school. I would have a little for drawing whatever. So yeah, I've been into drawing and drawing in that sort of way for like forever. It's always just been really fun to me. And it sounds like I didn't realize you were very entrepreneurial growing up. And, I don't know. I wouldn't even like really describe myself as entrepreneurial. I think I just wanted to like put my art out there and like in whatever way, you know. I don't know that it's like entrepreneurial in that kind of sense. I don't know, but I get what you're saying. But it's more just that I wanted like to put it out and have people see it in that kind of in-person way.
Which is great. It's lovely. It's really cute. I guess I just think of like many people when they start drawing, especially when they're young, other than maybe like sharing it with their family or whatever. It's not automatically like commissioning pieces. It's like, I'm just going to make this for me, and then I'm going to eventually share it. But it sounds like you were just like right into it. And, And were you always drawing nature?
Yeah, definitely started with nature for sure. My mom would take me for little nature walks with my stroller around town. We were military family actually. So I was born in New Brunswick, and we didn't stay there very long. Went to Victoria after that in BC, and then Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and then finally here in grade 2. So I was exposed to a lot of different types of like landscapes and types of nature. A lot of it early on was like sea lions and whales and stuff like that, which is super cool. And my mom would tell me, I don't remember, like I was too young, but she would tell me that she would take me down to like the docks at the beach, and I would love seeing all the little sea lions and stuff. So that was probably where it started, and then I've just always been completely enamored with all little critters that we have, and it's continued every time we've moved. I've always loved seeing who's around, who's new, who's different. And even who's familiar, who I keep seeing.
Who are some of your favorite critters here in Lethbridge?
I think I like all of them. I especially have like a soft spot for some of the more unloved ones that people don't tend to like. Like my favorite bird is the magpie, who is chittering back there. I love them. They're super smart. They're part of the corvid family, like with crows and blue jays and ravens, and so they're really smart. They remember faces. They can problem solve, and they're so pretty. They're iridescent, like, I don't know, then they make such fun little sounds, and I think they're great. I also really like deer. I think they're just really sweet, and they have like sweet little faces, and they're so peaceful. And the bucks have such cool antlers, and they're really majestic. And the little fawns, their little spots, they're just like cozy and cute, and they snuggle up with each other, or they zoom around out. Like I watch them because we get them in our yard and out our back in a little green space, and we get to see them grow every summer, and it's just like the biggest treat to watch all the little antics that they get up to. And yeah, I don't know, I love all of them, but I think those would for sure be some of my top ones.
Nice. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I think it makes you think of that like magic in the mundane that you mentioned. Because yeah, I think it's really easy to go to maybe exotic places, or even we have the mountains very close to see or photograph or draw, I guess. Yeah, wild
you really don't
nature.
have to go far. Yeah, we got it right here.
Yeah. I really like that.
Yeah.
And I guess like, so you talk about, so you moved here when you were quite young. You said grade 2. Yeah, I guess if you could remember, like kind of like what came next, maybe in your artistic journey, even when you were very young.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I was doing those like little weird drawing requests in school, and I just always kept drawing. I would come home from school, and even young and in kindergarten, I would come home and I would just want to plop down in at my little table and start drawing in the afternoon, have my little afternoon snack or whatever, and start drawing. And that just kind of continued. It was always a hobby that I've done in my spare time, always that I've enjoyed. As I started watching like anime and playing more video games, I started drawing some of those types of like characters and things too. So I do draw a lot of nature. I've also got anime and video game art that I do. That's a little bit of more of a side thing to my my nature art, but it's definitely all really important in I guess like the formation of my art style. So I just always was drawing. Even in class, I would doodle. And like free time at different jobs, not slacking, but when I had actual free time, I would fill it with drawing. And so, but I went to college for criminal justice, and I got a job at the jail here in town. I was there for a year, and I ended up getting a lot of night shifts just based on like what they needed at the time. And there's a lot of free time on night shifts. Like it's mostly just patrols every now and then, but then there's a lot of sitting. You're waiting for the next patrol. I found myself drawing. And after months of just drawing and sitting and realizing that I think I like drawing more than what I was doing. And among other reasons, I found that working in corrections wasn't for me. I decided to do a thing that I think if I thought about it too much, I would have been too scared to do, but I just decided to do the thing that I found myself enjoying the most on these night shifts professionally. And so I was at the jail for a year working there, and then I just did a complete 180 to art, which I had just been reinforcing the whole time was what I really wanted to do.
Yeah. What would that feel like to take that leap?
It wasn't that scary. I was very lucky that I was still able to stay with my parents at that time, so I wasn't worried about the pressure, I think, of supporting myself from a job that's very hard to do that with, especially at the beginning, and especially any job where you're, you know, starting your own business is really hard to do that. So I was really lucky that I had the opportunity to have the support from living at home while jumping into and starting this new business. So it was definitely more of an excitement and feeling like I finally was getting to do what I think all my actions were telling me to do my whole life. I was excited to finally get to do that and be like, cool, I get to do this forever now.
Yeah. You literally like left the prison, like you were in prison.
Yeah, right? Literal and figurative. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
And I guess so. Did you have any sort of like plan going into it as far as like what your business might look like?
Nope. No, I didn't. I took a lot of time just drawing at first, like practicing my full-time thing. And again, that's a very privileged position that I was in to be able to do that. But I knew that I needed to have a good foundation established before trying to just jump in and start selling stuff. So it was really important to me to practice a lot and build up my skills. And from there, I learned about like different little conventions I could go to and markets. I brought my anime art to different expos and conventions, and I started getting into like craft markets with my nature art. And that was, I think, the most accessible way for me to start from there. And then that has progressed into having like an online shop. And I always knew that I wanted to be my own boss. Especially after working at the jail, I really learned that I liked having more freedom and decision-making power. So I think being able to do like markets and conventions and having an online shop is where I really feel like I just have a lot of control in my day, in how I operate, in how I present myself, and what I choose to do regularly. So I really like doing those. There's lots of different avenues, you know, for art, but I'm really enjoying these ones. Yeah.
I guess was there something that kind of like drew you to the markets in particular?
Like I mentioned, I think it was just like the most accessible thing to try. But what keeps me in it now is that I really like being able to have that face-to-face interaction time with people, because that's so important with art, to be able to connect with the people that are viewing it, to be able to have that opportunity to talk about it, to explain, to have people see your passion about it, to relate. That's what art is. And I think that's so important in this day and age, especially with all of the AI that is around right now. The human connection, the humanity behind art is 100% what art is. Like, art is all we have as humans. And so being able to make that connection face to face with someone across from the table is like my favorite thing. I love that.
That sounds lovely. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even to name people specifically, but like, do any like conversations come to mind that maybe you met someone at a market? And
I've met one of my good friends that I have now that I go birding with regularly. We go a few times a month. I met her at a market. She started off as a customer. She commissioned me to draw her dogs and do some pet portraits. And she followed me. I followed her back. I saw that she'd post a lot about birds. I eventually asked if she wanted to go birding. We're really good friends now. So that's like such a cool thing to be able to just easily, like, I'm at my table with my nature art. Of course, I'm going to be chatting with people that also like nature. So it's a really great way to meet like-minded people. I've also met a lot of other local business owners of like shops in town that have asked me to stock my art in their stores. So it's been a really amazing opportunity for me to be able to get my art in stores in these other really cool local businesses that we have, and kind of back and forth support them. And just the ability to relate with someone that immediately knows what you're about when they come to your table, and then build a relationship on that.
Yeah, it sounds really meaningful. Yeah. And are you mostly doing like local markets?
Yeah, for now, I do a lot of local markets. I've done conventions in Edmonton with my nerdy art, but with my nature stuff, I mostly stick around here. But I do have plans to go up to like Calgary. I'd love to go to. That was something I wanted to do earlier, got a little stunted by COVID, and I just haven't really gotten back to that. Travel's expensive, you know, gas is expensive. So I'd love to, for sure, get to some markets still nearby, because I still like that local aspect, the local feel, the local animals. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess what comes to mind is like, as you mentioned, like you really like, I don't think you use the word, but I would use the word autonomy in your scheduling and being your own boss and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I wonder, like, because you said you make everything yourself, and you know, I feel like if you're mostly one person doing this, like you might be limited in how many markets you can go to, or how far you can go to. And I wonder if that's actually not a bad thing, that you can kind of just like have that balance maybe between time off and time making your art.
That has been something that has been a struggle for me, is finding that balance. So because being a small business owner, there's a lot of pressure too, and sometimes there's not someone to tell you, no, you need to stop today or this week or whatever. So yeah, it's definitely like there's pros and cons to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess through your artistic journey and as a business owner, like, yeah, tell me more about that, about trying to find that, like, we'll say balance, if there is that, between hustling and finding time to make your art or be in nature. Yeah. How do you deal with that?
I think I'm only just figuring it out this year, finally. I've been doing this for like very seriously for 5 years, a little more casually 10 years. And like you mentioned in the last question, how many markets I get to. Last year, I was doing markets almost every weekend, and in between that, it was just, I was hand making everything, and I didn't have a lot of time for art. I didn't have, like, to actually draw, like do the thing that I want to do as an artist is make the art. I didn't really have time to sit and draw. I was just kind of like a factory in between. And I didn't have a lot of free time for things I enjoyed. I didn't enjoy the things I enjoyed. I got real burnt out by the end of the year. And at the beginning of this year, I spent like a month and a half horizontal. I was like recovering from burnout, watched a lot of Netflix, and like tried to find things that like sparked my joy again. And that's kind of been what this year has been about for me, is rediscovering the things that bring me joy, rediscovering like the magic that initially made me start doing this, and reeling back on markets. I've done a few this year. It's been a lot healthier in that sense. I've had a lot more time to like practice my drawing, to draw in my sketchbook. I haven't done that in years, but like this year I'm sketching and practicing, and it's amazing. And I've been noticing when I do finally sit down to actually like draw a full illustrated piece, I kind of don't know like where all that came from, but it's because it's been gone for so long that I think I've been burnt out for years before that. And so I think that finally like having a rested mind and a healthy mind is finally coming out in my art in a way that I wasn't expecting, and has been really surprising to me. I've had more time to go for nature walks, and I've gotten into nature journaling, which is when I have like a little sketchbook that I bring, and I just go out in nature and I find different things that interest me, and I use drawings and pictures and numbers and words just to record and write down and get on the page whatever interests me that I see when I'm out, and to ask questions and be curious. And it's been so fun just to be mindful and to go beyond just even going out and looking at a thing and being like, that's Robin, that's a magpie, but to sit and to be like, what's that magpie up to? Like, why is he doing that? You know, and to watch and to ask questions, and to have the time to do that this year, to have the energy and not feel like I shouldn't be doing that or can't be doing that, but to really be like, wow, I have the time and energy to do this, and it's benefiting the whole rest of my mental health, which then benefits my art that comes out, and my business has been a really big, important journey for me. I think that I put off for far too long, but I'm really glad that I'm doing it now, because it's making such a big difference to my life in general.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you realized that, and you were able to shift and prioritize those things.
Yeah, it's hard to find a balance, but I was forced to, and I now recognize it enough, like early enough, that I don't think I would let it happen again. But I think for small business people, it's really easy to do too much and go too hard, and it's there's a lot of pressure. It's hard not to do that, but I think it's really important to take care of ourselves.
Absolutely, yeah. No, you're right, because you just have to pay the bills and such, and you just need to. And you're right, because there's no one there saying show up at 8 and leave at 4. And
and then like leave that behind at work too. Like you're sitting there at night and you're just thinking about it. It's spinning around in your head, and then that turns into answering emails late at night, or you know, whatever, or doing research, and then you should stop. You should do other stuff. Do stuff you like.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah. And for yourself, like, does that like, do you like block that time off in your calendar during the week? Is it kind of how you kind of make time for your nature walks?
Yeah, I don't strictly block it off. I really like having, and again, because I'm my own boss, I really like having this like fluid sort of ability to decide what I'm doing each day and to make things fit however I need. And so I have a regular day that I go as a habit now to go on my nature walks, but it's not strict. If I end up moving that to a different day because it works better, or sometimes I go with people and sometimes they do a different day, or sometimes that might be what I can do for the week is just that one. Sometimes I go a couple times. I like having the ability to fluidly choose, but I make it a priority, and I think the prioritizing of it in my mind makes, and knowing that, like watching the benefit of it later and how it's affected my more recent art has really encouraged me to keep those as priorities and to make sure that they happen, even though I'm not necessarily strictly blocking things off in my day.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it makes me think of one book I've read. It's called Slow Productivity by Cal Newport, and he talks about that, about chunking your time or blocking it off, or especially as a self-employed person, and making time for that makes a lot of sense. I guess, like, I mean, it kind of makes me think of another question I was curious about. Was kind of, I'm sure it varies week to week or season to season, but kind of like what your typical day looks like as a business owner.
Yeah, it's it definitely varies depending on what's needed with what's coming up. Some days I will spend entirely drawing. Those are my favorite. And some of those drawing days will be sketchbook days where I'm practicing, where I'm going through fundamentals. I'm drawing like anatomy stuff. I'm just drawing like the shapes of birds, and then slowly getting more detailed and getting into drawing over and over like bird faces and breaking all of that down, breaking down bird wings and stuff like that, and just drawing it over and over. Or whatever, it might be whatever animal. They're all different, so you have to give a lot of time to different things, and then each animal has its own weird thing, like antlers on deer, like. And then so yeah, some days there's sketchbook days, sometimes there's like full-on illustration days where I'm at my drawing tablet working on an illustration that I'm intending to turn into a product, like a print or stickers, or whatever it's going to be. Some days are make days, I call them, where I hand make whatever it is that needs to be stocked up for either a store that I need to restock at or an event that's coming up. So I'll go through and make a bunch of stickers that day, or I'll make a bunch of bookmarks, or make a bunch of tote bags, be a little factory. Some days are admin days. Those are for sure the worst days as a creative, is like the emails, the spreadsheet, like tracking my income stuff, and don't like those. But then there's no one to like delegate it to, so I have to do it. And I think that's definitely one of the hardest things, is not having people to delegate the tasks that you don't enjoy as much to. And then there's market days, and those are fun. Those are like a 2-hour setup. And then like early morning, we're getting up like 6 a.m. and then setting up in time to have the table open and running by like 8 or 9, and then it's a long day. Sometimes I get help from family. They'll bring me lunch, and that's always nice. They watch the dog, so the dog's not alone all day. That's really helpful. And then it's another like hour takedown at the end. But those are always busy days, but I really enjoy them. And yeah, I think that's probably all the different types of days.
Yeah, sounds very varied and interesting.
Yeah.
And I definitely echo some of that admin stuff. It's never fun, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of makes me think of like another question I'm always curious about, especially if someone is self-employed and if they have a small business. If there's any sort of like non-art skill that you've had to develop in yourself in order to be successful at your business.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely like the spreadsheet thing. I'm still not good at it. My fiance is much better at it. He helps me a lot. He's a number guy, so he helps. The marketing stuff, I don't want to have to do it, but I do, like on social media and everything, and learning how to do that, and in whatever capacity. And definitely like my people skills. I used to be really shy and quiet. This today would have been something I would not have done probably a year ago. But it's been a really important goal of mine to practice opening up, practice being less quiet and scared to share. So I think the people skills is probably the one that I've enjoyed having to learn the most. The other ones, still don't like those, but I have to. But I have really enjoyed working on being more open and sharing, and getting out of my comfort zone and coming to do stuff like this. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to do it, and we didn't
Yeah.
reach out in season 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You would have said no. And I really like that. You kind of have turned that into a positive thing. It's changed you as a person, or how you interact with people. And I'm glad to hear that. I'm an introvert myself, so I understand spending time alone, but I get that. It sometimes takes a bit of work to get out there, and especially to have to promote yourself. I feel like especially, maybe it would be different, especially for you, like being in person at markets, right? You can't just be sending emails or kind of be behind the computer. You have to be out there, right?
Yeah. but I've learned to come to enjoy that a lot more than because I spend the rest of my working time alone. You know, I have my little studio in the basement, and I mean, I got my dog, so thank goodness for him. If it wasn't for him, I don't know what I'd do. But aside from that, like I'm just down in my little basement drawing away. So it's nice. I've reframed it so that it's nice to have these opportunities to come out and do markets and stuff like today. Yeah.
No, it's lovely. Yeah. And I seem to remember, like, when we were talking initially, that you even made your own website too, right? Yeah. How was that experience?
Yeah. Same as everything else I make. I got to do it myself. I don't have anyone else. I like having the control. I like saving the money of being able to do things myself. And yeah, being able to design my own website meant that I had all the control in how it looked. And yeah, it's cool because I get to represent myself the way that I want to everywhere that I go, whether someone finds me online on my website or they find me in person at a market. What they're getting is exactly what I have put into it. So the words on my website, the way that it's laid out, like that's me. Anywhere that you find me, in person, online, whatever, is me. It's come from me. So I think that's so special and genuine. And I love being able to just present myself that way everywhere.
Yeah, a little more control, again, back to that autonomy thing in a good way.
Yeah,
as far as your branding and even when I think of your website, I immediately think of the colors, right? They're very alluring colors, right? Greens and browns and nature.
Yeah, exactly.
So it seems like it was a very intentional time you spent.
I spent a long time working on that color palette. Yeah, that's another one of my, I guess, work type of days is, I guess, kind of planning things. If we're planning color palettes or planning table layouts and things like that, those would be days where I was like, oh, I'm doing a color palette today. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And I guess we talked a lot about your journey and where you've been, but do you have any kind of dream projects or aspirations for the future of your business or your art?
That's a really good question. And again, always coming back to being my own boss is I get to choose what I'm doing. And I'd love to one day maybe illustrate a book cover or something, or do a coloring book. But the more I think about that question, the more I realize that it's in my power to do my dream project whenever I want, every time. So really my dream project is the next thing I draw, because I can do whatever I want with it, and I can make that be what I have always dreamed of making, and I just do it. I have that choice. And so yeah, it's the next thing I draw is the best thing that I want to make.
Great. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, it's very attainable goal. That's awesome. Yeah. And then I guess you're not relying on other people or organizations. So I think that's lovely. Yeah. Great. Yeah, I think we're getting close to our time here. So one question we always try to ask people at the end. I guess, how is your artistic practice or your business? How has that influenced your everyday life?
Yeah. I think that also kind of comes back to the balance question. So it's because art is so tied in with what is in your heart, right? So because it's nature, I draw nature, I love nature, and being able to find the balance this year to be able to go back out in nature more. It all is linked and cycles around. And so being a nature artist and reminding myself this year why I started doing that has also reminded me and encouraged me to get back out in nature more. So the fact that my life has become more about the things that I love, like nature, and being able to get back out into it, because I know that will also still benefit my art, it's all encouraged me back to have a more balanced life this year, where I'm getting back to doing the things I love, because I know that that's important even to the business aspect. So it's all tied into it, and it all encourages me to keep balance that I think I've been better able to find, and to keep finding interesting things out in nature. And same with the nature journaling, picking that up this year because I love nature. It ties in with the full illustrations that I do, that I make into illustrations, but also helps me continue to be curious and find that magic in that mundane when I go out and nature journal. And being able to share that on my social media and have people see the pages where it's like a lens of how I see nature, to be able to see the different things that I saw that day and the questions I asked and the things that made me curious and what I was like paying special attention to, being able to share that and have people see those almost like behind the scenes moments of what sparks interest and the wonder that then comes out into my full illustrations. I think discovering nature journaling this year has been a really cool, important, mindful thing for me, but also to be able to show to other people as well. So it's all tied, it's all linked. It all comes out in different ways, and balance and mental health and all sorts of balance.
Absolutely, yeah. That's great, yeah. Yeah, and I look forward to, like, I know, like, we're going to cover. I've very much enjoyed the conversation here in nature with you, Lauren.
Yeah, same. Thank you.
Yeah, so this has been On Location here in Lethbridge in the River Bottom. I'm Michael.
I'm Daniel, and this has been
Lauren Kurmey.
All right, we'll be right back.
Hello and welcome to On Location. We are here in the river bottom. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Michael. And this is
Lauren Kurmey.
Yes, thank you so much for your time and energy. I love it. And I have thoroughly enjoyed your conversations with Michael. And I'm super excited to dive into our showcase and just talk a little bit more specifically about some of the things you've done and worked on and the process behind them. And I think where I would like to start is just kind of touching back on like markets and the very like social side of your artistic practice and what that means and looks like. And is there anything that comes to mind when I bring that up?
I think probably just when I think back to when I first started markets, I was really quiet. I was really scared to even like greet people and say hi to them at my table without, I didn't want to bug them. I didn't want to bother people, you know?
Yeah.
But as I sometimes would have a table helper, whether that was like my fiance or my dad or, you know, whoever, that would kind of like nudge me and like say something, you know? And eventually that started getting me a little more on it for making myself say something and not be too scared to do that. And then I started kind of seeing the benefits of the connections.
Oh, wow. I'll throw it to Michael, but we might have to pause because there's a, yeah.
Yes, there is a train coming. So I think we're just going to be right back, and we'll pick it up once the train is gone. Maybe we'll leave the noise of the train. That'd be fun for the BRB.
Awesome. A lovely little interlude with the train there. So yeah, we were talking about markets and kind of getting the nudge from a relative or whoever was there to help you that day to like start talking to the people. Did the train cut off the end of that thought?
A little bit, yeah. Just I was saying how I was noticing the more that I opened up, the more I was able to connect with people across the table from me. I was having like full-on conversations and chats, and it was really like fulfilling for me to be able to connect like that with people that obviously liked nature. That's why they were standing in front of my table. That's why they had taken an interest to come over. And the fact that I was like too scared before to even want to say hi when it's so obvious that like from the minute they come over, they already have this sort of shared interest is silly now looking back at it. And it's just really neat and, like I said, fulfilling for me to be able to connect and relate and have these chats with people face to face like that at markets, because like I said, that's what art is about.
Yeah, it's about that connection. And there's something in there for me about like putting all the time and energy into the art, because I feel like that's obviously very important. And I feel like maybe there's some other artists out there that are stuck on that hurdle of like that's where their energy maybe ends, as opposed to thinking of that energy carrying through into like whoever's receiving the artwork. That's something that I'm picking up on there. And does that seem like it resonates?
Yeah, totally. I think I love the idea of it all being like an experience from the minute that you discover the artist and learn about them and you get to like them, you know, because there's so many ways that you can learn about artists now, whether it's online on social media or in person at these events. It's really cool to find someone whose art you like, but then also who you share values with on beyond that. And that's just this level, like this deeper level of meaning in the art and where it came from than I think if it just stopped at the art. I love that it's expanded into this like full experience of the art and then the person it came from.
Yeah. And you had mentioned like some of those interactions have like blossomed into like actual like friendships and ongoing relationships with people. And yeah, I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that one of the images that you were able to share with us, maybe we'll do the blackbird first, just because I did actually recognize it based on some of the patterns on its wings. What can you tell us about that piece?
Yeah, so that drawing was the first one that I tried to draw and take my time on after all of my like proper burnout recovery. It's the first one that I told myself to slow down and really take the time needed to experiment. It's a really big like piece in terms of the style and the time and allowing myself with it, kind of. I think a lot of the time before I would try to just in the small amounts of time between hand making that I would have, like in previous years, I would try to rush out art, and I didn't allow myself to take the time I need. I didn't allow myself to experiment. I didn't allow myself to fix things up that I think, or to try and see like, would it be better if I did this? I wouldn't take the time to even try and find out if it would have been better. And I think I was thinking more of like, what do people want rather than what do I want to represent me? What do I want? Like, what would I even want to hang on my own walls? And taking the time to figure all of that out during the drawing wasn't something that I had before. And so it sort of felt almost like every part of the drawing was getting in the way of me being done the drawing, which sucks. That's not what art's about, you know? That's not ever where I want to be. But this was like my first drawing back where I shoved all of that aside and I took my time with it. Before, I was getting drawings out in like days, the rushed ones, but this one was 3 weeks because I took the time, because I experimented. I didn't know, it was like a completely different style with like the kind of organic borders and like the branchy frame around. That was all new. That was all things I experimented with that I didn't know that I wanted to do until I tried like 10 or 15 things before that and settled on where I liked it. But I wouldn't have known, I wouldn't have gotten to that point if I hadn't been able to take the time to do that. So from a personal place, that piece is really important to having established this style that I've found myself really liking, this kind of like sort of fantasy vibe that has these nice cool details sort of framed like kind of these Art Nouveau sort of inspired framing things around it, and so it was a really important learning time went into that to make it where it is and to help me with the pieces that have come after that. And in terms of like the inspiration for the little blackbird, I think even that's important too, because if I was to tell you like I was inspired by this really amazing like event where this blackbird had this big thing that happened, it's like it wasn't. I was on a walk, like a red-winged blackbird flew in, and it was a small thing, but I think like my whole thing is realizing that small moments are big. And so being able to turn this little moment of like I was just on a walk, a little blackbird flew in, I saw his little wings, and to be able to turn that small moment into this big magical moment, because that's what it all really is. And we need to notice that, and we need to slow down, and we need to appreciate that these small things are really amazing. Like that's where the drawing of the blackbird itself came from, was a small moment that I think.
Yeah. I can't tell you how much the sentiments resonate. I go for runs and coolies a lot, and so I see them all the time. And about getting out into nature, and it sounds like kind of part of the inspiration for nature, and I'm using that and reflecting on that. And it's like one thing I get out of being like, comparing yourself as much, whereas when it's like it's very easy to start comparing yourself to everybody. Comparing yourself and your style and what you're making. When the market is still next to you, also selling like the similar medium of things, like also and so just that idea of comparison comes to mind. But nature, does that resonate at all?
Hugely, yeah, absolutely. Especially, it's impossible to not compare yourself, and it's impossible not to be in these places where I have to be sharing my art on there and be things that you compare yourself to. And it's so hard in those things. I 100% agree that when you come out, you put your phone away, and you're often see other people, and your brain can just like be somewhere. It's like an escape. It's somewhere else. You have to be looking at things that can potentially make you feel pretty bad. So totally on that point. And even like with the nature journaling that I've started doing too, that's level like and focus on where I am rather than even when I'm in nature for my brain to be like, oh, we're gonna get anxious and we're gonna start thinking about nature, become a mindful hone in, sort of thing. So yeah, totally agree. Nature is a fighting thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And really appreciate it.